Hello, hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Fabulous with Tamara L. Hunter and your special host, because you don't see Tamara here, but I can never fulfill her shoes, but I can kind of stand next to her. So my name is Barbara J. Beckley, and I am here as a guest host last few Sundays, and it has been a ride. I mean, I've been loving being on this show. I've been loving working with the team that Tamara has. A good shout out real quickly to Miss Caroline Brown. She's the best. She makes sure that we're here, where everything's good with technology and everything. So I got to give her a little love. Give her a little love. And I'm using that example because what our show is about today is talking about making a difference globally, making that global difference. Not just, in your household, not just in your community, but everywhere. But it has to start somewhere, right? And that's what we have with our panelists today. Some wonderful guest panelists that I have reached out to. And I have to say, they said yes to me. And I'm so glad they did, because we're going to be talking about this subject, about making a difference. So I want everybody, as you know, I got to remind you, you have this? Yes. Pen. I know it's old school, but you can use it today. And this pad of paper, you see, I already have notes already that I have already. And it's old school because it's an old folder. But I'm saying that because I want people to take notes. I want you to, just give the love in the chat, the comments, whatever you want to do, because this is a discussion with the panelists, but it's also a discussion with you. So I want the interaction to happen. So with that said, let's talk fabulous with our panel. Here we go. Okay. So, you know how people say you love technology when it works and you love it more when it doesn't work? That's what's happening right now. But that's okay, because you know what? This is so important that I know there might be some things in the universe trying to say, well, we want to stop this. No, you're not going to do it. This is too much of an important subject to talk about. So we're going to get through this. Thank you, everybody, for showing up on the panel. Christopher, Dr. Paulette, Audra, and Eleanor. Oh, my God. Now, is it Eleanor or I'm sorry. Did I say it incorrectly?
Eldonna.
Eldonna. I see L, and I don't know why I put Nor to it. Eldonna. Queen Eldonna. So, and King. We have a King here, Christopher. So before we start, I always have there's another co-host that comes on, and she always brings in some love on a video, just to add to the whole atmosphere of what we're talking about. So I'm going to bring on Miss Renee. She has just a short little message for us, and then we're going to get into the subject.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's fabulous show with guest host Barbara J. Beckley. My name is Renee Rice, the founder of Finding Your Voice Network, Finding Your Voice Network magazine, certified holistic practitioner for hypnotherapy, and life and leadership coach. I'm so grateful to have you here with us today. On today's show, we will be joined by expert panelists talking about making a global difference in the world. And, we serve so many different ways in this life, whether you're helping the veterans or serving the homeless at a kitchen or however it is you are serving. That's what today's show is about, making a global impact. And we are all here to do that. And it's joining forces, linking arms, and how we are able to do that. So as always, get your pens and papers out there and get ready to take some fabulous notes with our expert panelists. Barbara, Beckley, have a fabulous show. Take it away, my friend.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Renee. I always throw the kisses back to her. So she is just a gem. So with that, again, we're going to get right into it because our timing, and I want to make sure each and every panelist gives you the love and give you their take when it comes to making a global difference. Now, my quote, I made up this quote, okay? It's not like a quote that you can find. For my quote for making a global difference is if you see something that's different, you see something that needs to be changed, inspire others, inspire yourself to do it first and then help inspire others to make that change with you. So I always say to myself, if you see something, that's anything that you feel like there's a need, that there's something out there that people need help with, just maybe just talking to them, maybe just saying hi. It can just be the smallest thing. Make that difference for yourself first and then bring others in so we can make a global difference. So with that, we first want to meet our panelists before we get into the subject. So I'm going to start from my top to bottom with first Mrs. Dr. Paulette.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited about being here. Thank you so much about this topic that we're going to be discussing, making global impact.
Hello, everyone. I am Audra Agen, and I am very excited to be here with you all and discuss this timely and important topic of making a global impact. So I'm excited to have that conversation.
And just waiting for the screen. Okay. Eldonna, I think you'll just have to say
That's all right.
it's you just say it.
Okay, I'm Eldonna Fernandez, founder of Baskets of Beads Kenya, where we help women in poverty empower themselves to entrepreneurs.
Awesome.
Hi,
and Mr. Chris.
Sure. Well, good. Thank you, Barbara, for the opportunity to be here, and good afternoon, ladies. My name is Chris Salem. I'm a business acceleration strategist and someone who has immersed himself into the study of mindset with people. And it is such an important topic, making a global difference, because when you're going to be making a difference, it always starts with you. You have to be the change for change to happen. Change is going to happen inevitably, but it always starts with you. And I can't wait to hear from all the experts here today sharing as we all learn from one another to move forward.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I just want to say thank you again for coming. And like I said, the topic today is how to make a global difference, or why do we need a global difference? I mean, it can just arrange from a different avenue altogether. And I want to start off by first asking each and every one of you, in your world, what do you think making a global difference? Why is it so important to you? So I'm going to go back and go backwards. So I'm going to go back to Mr. Chris and ask him and go around the room.
Well, when you think about, change in the world always starts with somebody from what they observe in something. There's a situation, something happens, something changes. Usually it's something beyond our control. And we often, as people, learn from what we observe in our surroundings, just like a child observes what their parents do in their homes. Thus, what shapes that child as they become an adult, how a lot of times they live their lives, how they communicate, how they behave, what their attitude is, how they react versus instead of responding through emotions to situations and people, and the action they take. So, making a difference is an individual responsibility. Then it's a team responsibility, a community responsibility, family, organization, and then a world responsibility. So every one of us has something that we bring to the table through our experiences that we can inspire people through our example and through our communication, our behavior, our attitude, our emotions, and action to do for themselves. And when we can do that together, interdependently, we can create more positive change in the world moving forward.
I love that. I love when you said about, basically bringing that team together. And it's really nice when you can all find the same, like if it's on maybe, just helping the children in Haiti or something like that. I'm just using an example. And you find a bunch of other people that are in the same mind zone in that, and you all come together and you say, yeah, let's create this change. Let's help each other out. To me, that's like the extra. That's like the extra. So I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna have Carol come up. She's going to take over for a second, and I will be right back.
She might be having some technical difficulties, so I'll just continue on with the question about why is making a global difference so important. I'm a retired Air Force veteran, and I live by the core value service before self, which was something I've lived ever since I was in the Air Force and beyond. And to me, it means that it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do something global like I'm doing things in Kenya. You can do something right in your community, right in your neighborhood, somewhere else where you can take the opportunity to make a difference in somebody else's life, kind of get out of your own way, use your gifts and your talents and pour into somebody else or help somebody else. It's like the E-Women Network has a hand up, kind of lift as you climb type of thing. Our slogan at Baskets and Beads Kenya is a hand up, not a handout, where we're reaching out to give somebody a hand up that wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity. So it's being of service in whatever area that you're called to, whatever thing attracts you, what maybe your expertise or something you have a passion for. You may see somebody in need and think, wow, I could really help that person. There's another philosophy of never waste your pain. So somebody who's been through some sort of pain or trauma in their life and is recovered from that trauma, to be able to go forward and share to help somebody else get past that trauma. So using all the avenues that you have to be of service in somewhere in the world, whether it's globally, locally, or regionally.
Eldonna, I'll pick up where you left off.
So I have just jumped on, Barbara.
Caroline, I think
had to again, technology. We have to apologize for that.
I think we're experiencing a little bit of lag with you, Caroline. So I will go ahead and jump in now. And it's for me, global impact came as a really simple thought, which was there's got to be something bigger than me. There's got to be more than just what I do to make a living. There has to be more than something than what I do every day to help support my family, which is important. But for me, it was something missing. There's got to be something more. And I've been able to grow by helping others do the same and just meeting them where they're at. And I never intended that it would be global impact. I started with something small and local, and it's grown over time to be a global impact, with which I'm very proud of, but that was completely organic. And like I said, it just simply started with one thought of there's got to be something bigger than me. So Dr. Paulette, I will let you take it from there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'm Dr. Paulette Harper, and I am a storyteller. I'm a published author of 14 books. And what I do to make a global impact and why it's so important is I show others how to make a global impact by telling their stories, by writing books that share with the audience that their stories matter, that their voices matter, that their experiences will never get wasted. These stories are able to make a global impact because we're able to reach people beyond locally, beyond family and friends, because it's the power of our story that's really going to make an impact in other people. And so I have this quote. I say, I unlocked my voice so that others can unlock their voices. And so the power of making a global impact is the messaging, it's reaching an audience, it is telling people about your experiences, what you've overcome, and how your experience can really transform and transition a life of someone else.
Anybody else want to feed off of Dr. Paulette?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if there's another question. I guess that was the Caroline. We all answered Barbara's first question.
All right. So I'm going to play a video until we can get Barbara back on. So just stay tuned.
Okay.
Together, we are stronger than sadness. Together, we are stronger than cancer. Together, we are stronger. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. Human hope, hearts, hugs, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hugs, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hugs, love, love, love. Human hope, hearts, hugs, love. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are one. We are love. We are hope. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts. We are the ones to change the world with our hearts.
I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear her?
No, she's on mute. Do you want? Yeah, I mean, I do. I have 2 radio shows of my own. If we want to do, it's up to you guys. I can.
Yeah, why don't we just go around and share how
Sure.
we're involved in different things
There we go.
globally. And there's Barbara.
Hello. Okay, let's do this. Thank you, everybody. See, this is a team. This is a global difference, right? Of this show. When the host gets totally messed up in internet, we all come together. So that's the example. See, it happened because of the example. We had to prove example. But anyway, we're going to keep it moving. I know everybody answered my first question, but I want to make sure, because like I said, I have some people on what we call on the streets that are saying certain things about a global difference. So I want to make sure that we hear from those individuals. So we're going to play one right now and hear what she has to say about the difference.
Hello, my name is Brooke Curran. Making a global difference to me means helping others in need. You know, that can be either donating or volunteering or providing other resources to organizations who need help. If you pool your resources together, you can make a greater impact. So for me as a graphic designer, I make a global difference by providing graphic design elements, whether that's ads or graphics or logos or whatever they need in order to get their message across, in order to raise money, to gain more members, and to raise more awareness. Personally, I also like to help Chemo Buddies for Life, CB4L, as well as the YMCA. I'm a strong advocate for children and families. And that's what making a global difference means to me.
Awesome. I just want to thank Brooke for coming in off the street and telling us what she thinks what a global difference means. And as you can see, everybody has their own take when it comes to that. But overall, it's really just about the caring of your heart, helping whatever capacity that you're trying to do. That's why there's so much to do, and we all can't do it. We all can't just one person do it. That's why this wonderful panel here has all their ways of how they help people. With Audra, I mean, everybody, I know you talked earlier, but I just want to express that whatever you choose, you're helping, you're making a difference in somebody's life. And that's what really counts. So I want to kind of go a little bit into, when it comes to global, because, when you think of most of us here live in the United States. So if you're helping in a global level, there can be some challenges. Let's just put it like that, challenges in that. So I want to just go back to the panel. I'm going to start with Audra this time and just ask you, when those challenges come, give us just maybe your way of how you would work that out, because you're really trying to help. You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not trying to come against any kind of culture or religion or anything. It's not about that. It's all about love. So I just want to get your take and everybody else's take on that. So we'll start with Audra.
Well, I have a global podcast that's called Women in the Arena, and I interview women from all over the world. And I have to be sensitive to women that I interview from different parts of the world that have different cultures than we do. And that's simply what I say as we start the conversation. I will say, I'm learning from you. I hope you can learn from me. If I say anything that is offensive, educate me, because that is not out of malice. It's simply out of not knowing. But I have a willing heart to learn and to educate the audience on the nuances and the differences from culture to culture. And once I lay that baseline out, I think that covers a multitude of mishaps or missteps or unintended offenses when people know your heart. Your heart is just to understand, to educate, and to broaden our horizons. And 99% of the individuals that I have spoken to have been very open to that, respectful with that, and very empathetic and want to further the knowledge and the understanding to people outside of themselves.
Audra, I really love what you said, especially when it's come to learning other cultures and other individuals. That's where I think that's what makes it really huge when it's come to making a difference, because you have to understand and be aware of what's going on around you. You can't have your head stuck in the sand, as they said, the old saying, like what is ostrich or something. You have to make sure that you are open to everything that's going on, so you know where lies the problem. I mean, I'm talking about the deep problem. Sometimes, some people say, well, the problem is they don't have food. Well, it might be a deeper problem than that. And if we're going to help, we need to figure that out so we can help in that area to get to the food. So I always tell people, you always have to dig a little bit deeper than just looking at the outside. And that's when you get to talking, communicating. And like Audra said, she deals with all global women, and she's learning so much from them. So I'm going to go to Dr. Paulette with the same question.
So one of the ways in which I make the impact globally and bring other people along with me is I have my TV show called Now Faith is TV, where faith, books, and business collide. And it airs on Roku and Amazon Fire and whatnot. And so the premise of my show is to bring guests on to bring global awareness to what they do, how they serve their communities, and the products and services that provides a connection with an audience. And I think because there's a gamut of different guests that come on. They come from all walks of life. They have been, they're sharing their message, whatever that message is, to reach people beyond just, their neighborhood. It's to reach people globally about what they do. And I think the impact that makes is so amazing, because you take a medium such as TV or podcast or radio, and it takes people where they can't necessarily go, based on, the demographics. And so I think, having that as a medium to provide a platform for others to be able to share their own messaging, to reach, more of a global impact, to really, share that message with people all around the world and provide that, that product or service so they can reach other people and make such make more of a positive impact and change the people's lives as well.
Thank you, Dr. Paulette. I like what you mentioned about you leveraging technology, and we all do this. I mean, people have their podcasts or shows, or, just coming on Facebook and just really expressing, what's needed. So I always tell people technology, when it works, technology is awesome. Technology is brilliant because you can reach so global quickly than maybe getting in a plane or whatever to try to fly over there. Sometimes just being there, they see you and they see that you care. So the shows and podcasts, everything that people have, that helps. Just like right now, we have this show that we are able to leverage and go global. So I always tell people, use those advantages to make sure that you can be there. So I'm going to go to Eldonna and let her answer the question here.
So getting involved in Kenya, I didn't really intend to do what I'm doing now. I wrote a book called Think Like a Negotiator. I've been speaking and training on negotiation for a lot of years, leadership, self-leadership, effective communication. And I still have some contracts to do that. Went to Kenya in 2018 and on a mission trip. And the thing you have to do or think about when you're going to work in another country is put all your prejudgments or things that you've heard aside, because there's a lot of this idea that Africa's poor. Well, in Kenya, the city of Nairobi is larger than the city of Los Angeles by 500,000 people. They have a major port. They're the number 3 exporter of tea in the world behind India and Sri Lanka. And the tourist industry is $1 billion a year industry. So there's the haves, the have-nots, and the below poverty line. And we're serving those below poverty line that live in, there are slums there. They live in little mud huts, but they make beautiful handcrafted products like this bracelet made out of magazines that I'm wearing. But having to understand the you're communicating with a different group of people that don't think the same way you do, and you have to understand their culture and their traditions and the way they operate in business because you're in that country. So I couldn't be doing this without Layla, our director in Kenya, who handles she's the boots on the ground, even though I've been to Kenya 8 times since 2018. I didn't intend to start. I just brought back a few beads to sell when I was speaking. And as this has grown, I've had to educate myself I didn't know what fair trade was. I'd heard about it. I had to educate myself about that. And then we work with a lot of different tribes. So everybody has their own traditions, their own way of operating. And it's just being able to educate yourself about where it is that you're working and then have a team approach to working out issues and situations. We have a farm in one area. We have people making beads and printed items in another area. And we're working with a couple other groups and about 3 other groups, and more want to come on. And it's understanding how each one of those operates and having a perspective where you all come together as a team and work out problems together. And that's worked well for us.
Yeah. Eldonna, I like how, and I'm glad you mentioned that about having boots, there. So people that are there, that they live there, are conversating with you, that you're gelling together, you're a partner, you're a team. So when you do come there, you understand they're basically like an ambassador for you, for what you're trying to do with them, and you're all coming together. And I think that's powerful, because you need that, because a lot of times we don't know everything about certain other countries, right? But if we know somebody there that's been there, that lives there, that knows what the pain points are, and then can tell us, okay, this is what's going on. And then when you come over there, you're like not looking like a deer in headlights saying, oh, I thought you just needed this. No, we need this. And when you come there with the gifts of your heart and what you're doing for them, it just makes it more meaningful, I think. So, Chris, I want to bring you up and ask you the same question about those maybe challenges or things that you see in a global part of it.
Yeah. I'll definitely love speaking about this particular area on challenge. As people, we've been conditioned since we were very young to see challenges and obstacles and problems as not a good thing. And as human beings, because of our survival mindset, we tend to resist challenges, obstacles. But if you really think about challenges, obstacles, and problems, if anything good can be accomplished in the world, anything worth striving for on an individual, on a team level, on an organizational level, on a world level, that could not be possible if everything were going right. We only learn, expand, and grow when we go through challenges. So for the first 30 years of my life, I resisted change. I resisted challenges because I had to be in control of everything. And I was miserable. I was angry. I struggled with 12 years of addiction as a result to kind of fight off the anger, or at least kind of stay away, from the challenges. But today, in the last 26 years, since I've made this transformation, and something I've committed my life to, helping business leaders around the world, is looking at challenges and obstacles as a good thing. Because what it does is it allows us to grow. Think about Thomas Edison. He would have never made the discoveries he made if he didn't have all these other failures beforehand. And just like the likes of so many people that have done before. So challenges and obstacles are a good thing, because we can learn now to see them as opportunities to grow and expand. If everything went right, we would become complacent, bored, and then as human beings, we create problems. When we can learn to take on challenges and obstacles, seeing them as blessings in disguise, we can be more proactive and respond versus react to situations to find solutions. And it's just the evolution of change. That's what challenges are for. When the body sends a signal to you, when you have pain in your body, the body's telling you something. It's sharing something that has to be addressed instead of resisting or avoiding it. So I always just encourage people, shift your way of thinking. It's not about living in the past and the future from fear, because that's where fear thrives, and attaching yourself to expectations, to outcomes. It's about embracing the process, living in the moment, operating from intentions rather than expectations. Because when you can learn to control what you can, and there are 5 things: your communication to yourself and others, your behavior, your attitude, it's happening for you, not to you, no matter what has happened to you in the past. Number 4, your emotions and how you respond versus react to situations and other people, and your action. You cannot control those same 5 things in other people, nor can you control anything else beyond your control. When we can learn to shift our way of thinking that way, we will begin to know that we're not responsible or have to be in control of these things outside of us. And then when we can master what we can control with inside of us, that's where the change happens. This is where the difference can begin to have a ripple effect in an environment where we can make it psychologically safe for others to do the same. Thank you for the chance, the opportunity to share that.
That was a mic drop. Just had to say that, Chris. Oh my God. Okay, if you didn't have this, like I said in the paper, you missed out. You missed out on some wonderful gold nuggets from everybody. I love, Chris, you gave us the 5: communication, behavior, attitude, emotions, and action. It all comes together. That's just powerful. That's powerful. And I think, just taking that concept alone and what we do, not just, have a global difference, but everyday life. I mean, that's concept can just go for everything, especially when we're like, oh, dang, there's another change, or, oh, here's another challenge, or here we go again. I always look for the learning experience from it. So that's what I really love about that, even though it kind of, sometimes it does like, you feel like, oh, I got to do this again, but always look for that learning experience, the learning curve, or even meeting people from the whole change. You never know who you're going to meet. So we want to get back on the streets. Here's some people from the streets again, and we're going to hear from Charles to say what he thinks about what making a global difference means in his life.
Making a difference globally is important to me on a personal level because I truly believe that everyone is put on this world and in this life to do whatever we can to make other people's lives better, at least to a degree. I have certainly been the beneficiary of many people's sacrifices, struggles, and charities, and I feel it's important to reciprocate that. And I think that our society, and not just American society, but the world society in general, would be massively lifted if more people did take it upon themselves to go out of their way to help others. I don't think there is any such thing as a benevolent act being a waste of time. For whatever reason that act is taken, I think that it's worth the time, the effort, and the energy that is put into it. And I think that it elevates you as well. I've never left a volunteer event or charitable event and felt like I wasted my time. I always enjoyed it, and I always felt like I was actually doing something to help other people, which is the best feeling that there is. So, in short, I think that making a change globally is the responsibility of every person, and I think that if we all acted a little bit more in that regard, the world would be a much better place. Thanks.
Thank you, Charles. And Charles, he was so sweet because I came to him a few days ago, and he was having some problems, personal problems, and he's like, I don't know if I can do it, Barbara. He came to me last night. He said, Barbara, can I still be the person on the street to talk? I said, of course, Charles, just send me your video. And see, it's just, this is what I'm talking about. You do that extra sometimes when you really see something that you really believe in. And he wanted to make sure that he said something about this topic today. So I just want to thank Charles for that real quickly. So now I want to get back to our panel. I just want to just spread some love to Audra. She was really feeling sick and she tried to hold on as much as she could, but she had to drop off. I told her she got to take care of herself before anything. So let's just put some prayers out there, or, some good vibes to her, some hugs for her. And we're going to continue on. She said, yes, I'm there in spirit. So I want to get to something that, going back to the challenge, but this time I want to ask the panel that where's a time that you were in the midst of helping somebody making a change, or a group, or just one-on-one, and it taught you something. Like Chris said just earlier about, learning from our experiences. So maybe give us an example or a time where you were either helping or somebody was helping you. Could be either or in a making a difference capacity, and you learned something from it. So I'm going to start with Eldonna first in the middle.
Awesome. Well, I always say that these women in Kenya, I learn something from them every single day. I'm working with them. We work together as a team, like I said, but the fact that they're looking to me to help sell their products here, I'm learning from them every day. I'm learning about tenacity. I'm learning about teamwork. I'm learning about leadership. They're outstanding at all of those things. I'm learning about creativity. They create things out of the grasses in the ground and paper from magazines, and they simply do it. They step up and do it. I'm learning from them all the time about their leadership skills. They are from the Turkana tribe and live in a place called the Kipsongo slum, our main ladies that make the most of the products that we have. And there's a tribal council, and every time the tribal council of men went to say something, they'd be like, oh no, we have about 30 women. It ebbs and flows between 27 to 32 women. Right now I think we're at about 27. No, we don't like that because of these reasons. And they finally said, you just need to have somebody from your group on the tribal council, because every time we go to make a change in something, you all speak up. So you need to have somebody from your group on the tribal council that enables us to come together as a community and make changes as a team. So for them to be recognized like that, they stood up, they were tenacious, they stood up in their leadership, and they said, okay, this is what we think needs to happen. They're like, okay, come on board and be part of the community leadership team. So I'm always learning about how to be a tenacious leader from these women. They amaze me. I'm encouraged by them. I learn more from them than I think that they learn from me.
It always amazes me too, Eldonna, where you can go to other countries, when you're either visiting and trying to, you're trying to be a help too. And they just have this, whatever's going on, they just have this toughness about them. They just, this leadership, everything, all those qualities are just coming out of them, just natural, right? Where I say sometimes for myself, that sometimes I struggle with that, even when I'm doing in corporate, sometimes I used to struggle with that. Not so much now, but there's still challenges, other challenges. But I look at them and I'm like, okay, if they can do it and they're in where they are, why? I have no excuse really, to be honest. I always say, what's my excuse? They're over there dealing, trying to get food and water and everything or whatever's going on. And I'm sitting here getting upset because somebody said something about my earrings or something. Really? I mean, let's take this a whole bigger picture here. That your earrings is not what it, whatever. So I love how you said that. Even you learning so many qualities from others in the world. So I'm going to go to Dr. Paulette and see what have you learned or some teaching from who you've been helping, or individually or a group.
Yeah, thanks, Barbara. So I do one-on-one coaching for those who want to write nonfiction books. And so one of the things, there's several things that my clients have taught me, but one of the major things that they have taught me was, this is what I'm called to do. This is my life's purpose, and that is to provide them the platform and the opportunity to take their message globally. And when I see the transformation in their lives, that right there is why I do what I do, and I continue doing it. It's their ability to say, I want to share my message with people I don't know. I want to be vulnerable to people who may not know what I've gone through. And I want to own my story and my experiences and not be ashamed of what I've gone through. So when I see my clients take the challenge, when I see them want to say yes to their story, when I see their courage and their creativity to want to go right from where they are to be a published author, and I see that their messaging is so different, it is for a coach, it is a blessing to see what they can do when they just say yes, and they want to make a change globally and not be ashamed of where they are, but they see that it is bigger than them their messaging is bigger than them, and what they've been called to do is bigger than them as well.
Yeah. Wow. It's nice when you can stand in your purpose and your truth. I always tell people when you do that, it's like everything is going to come aligned because you're really standing in what you believe in. And then when you're helping others to do that, it's just makes a bigger difference. And it just blows up. To me, I always say it just blows up. It just makes it more better. Chris, I want to come to you of any things that you learned from your going with dealing with different people in the global area.
Yeah, I mean, this happened several years ago, back, again, when I was 30, up till the point I was 31 years old. I'm 56 now. And I would say for me, I was, when I was growing up, I grew up in a codependent home. So I had a lot of dysfunction. That's all I knew growing up. And so I became a passive aggressive communicator. And that's how I interacted with people, with my communication behavior. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't even know what either of those things were. But when I looked at the passive side, some things I learned is I always went on my way to help people. And I went out of my way to do, thinking I was really helping and giving value and maybe getting people, out of a sticky situation, or if maybe there was something that, they really required a lot of work. Like if I could just give them enough time and do enough things, like it would help them to make the changes to do what would get them out of their situation. Now, the byproduct of all that was I was constantly emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted. I never lived up to their expectations. It was never good enough. And then I began to realize when I went through this transformation back around, I would say right before 2000, 1998, around that time frame, I realized that by doing for people, I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. See, I didn't realize I was doing it from my own self-limiting beliefs because I was seeking their validation because I didn't get it growing up from my father. So I sought it out in other people. And then by helping people, thinking I was really helping them, all I was doing was pleasing and enabling them to stay stuck in what they were doing because Chris would come and take care of it for them. And they weren't learning anything. They weren't growing from it. Just like in the Bible, it says that, when they teach a man or a woman to fish, you're teaching them. You're not fishing for them. You're teaching them through your example for them to do for themselves. So I've lived my life in the last 26 years from those experiences through being interdependent versus codependent. I don't just do for people. Now, it doesn't mean I don't do. I do, but I do it from a place of empathy and kindness. Big difference from pleasing and enabling. One is codependent, one is interdependent. And the difference is I lead by example on a consistent basis through my communication, behavior, attitude, emotions, action. And I'm resourceful, meaning that I inspire people through resources to do for themselves. Now, I have found through this transformation for myself and people I've worked with, business leaders on both a personal, professional level, that marriages improved, other relationships with family improved, business improved, communities came together. Because if we are dependent on one another, that doesn't move things forward. When we can complement one another by owning responsibility for our roles and duties, whatever hat that is in your life and business, it's a game changer. But no one is going to step up and do that usually because they're not conditioned to do that. They're conditioned the other way around. It's that you, all of us individually, have to take that responsibility, regardless of where we are in our lives, what title you have in your career or your business. And these are the things that I feel through my experience really will move things forward for great impact to make a difference in our world. Now, we have a lot of pushback in our world, and I'm not going to get into all that stuff because that's not a place to be bringing that up. But with that being said, we have to be that change. And for me, it's taking responsibility and owning my role and duties as a father, as a husband, as a brother, as just a family member, a member of my neighborhood community, and as a coach and a consultant and a professional speaker. When I'm interacting with people, that's how I have to show up.
Ooh. Wow, Chris, and you are showing up, sir. I love that. I mean, you said so many golden nuggets, but the biggest thing I love too when you said we have to have empathy and we have to have kindness. And I just want to throw one other thing with that. Love. We need to show that love is so much needed. So I want to make sure, because we just have a little time left, we're going to have one more person off the street to say their portion on what they feel that global difference means to them. Mr. Christopher Rauch. He is a part of a board called Help Humanity. And then we're going to play a game. So we'll be right back.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Rauch here, and I want to talk about global impact and the reason why I believe that it's such an important topic in today's society. I have been blessed to travel all around the world, and I have met people from all different cultures, shapes, sizes, colors, religions, black, white, short, straight, gay, all different Republican, Democrat, every different type of label. But at the end of the day, we are humanity. And together we need to be supporting one another and realizing that we are more the same than we are different. We all want the same things in life. It's just a matter of the way we want to look at that. And what we need to do now is we need to be teaching our kids to look within somebody and to realize that we are more the same than we are different. And the fact that we can heal the global economy, heal the global impact, and do good by our fellow brothers and sisters around the world, we can make this world a beautiful, beautiful place for our kids. Our time is coming near, but our kids and our kids' need to know that they're growing up in a world that's got one love. It's got the opportunity for us to collaborate and listen to one another and understand and empathize and to realize that everybody's going through their own different battles. But the global impact is that today we can sit there and we can give to those who are in need and make this world a better place. We don't need any more houses with 18 bedrooms. We just need to help heal humanity and make this world a beautiful world for our kids and our kids' kids. So I encourage you to really open your eyes and open your perspective, because people are beautiful from all over the world, all around your neighborhood, all around your cities. Start looking within and seeing the love. Stop looking through the lens of fear. See the lens through love. And together we can make a difference in this world. I encourage you to do that today for our kids and our kids' kids. I love you guys. Go out there and be the change that you want to see.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, we're going to play a quick game, and I got to make it quick because first, two things, our time, and second, I know Chris just told me something too, so I'm going to have him go first. So in 30 seconds, because I know we all love to talk, but 30 seconds, give any lasting thoughts that you want to give to this wonderful audience out here that's listening about making a global change. And I'll make Chris be first.
I would just say, I would just like to leave, this is another thing I've learned to live my life by, and I've done it for the last 26 years now, is learning to give without expectation, but not from a place of pleasing and enabling. Have boundaries, healthy boundaries. Give from a place from empathy and kindness, being the example daily, consistently. Giving through resources to help inspire people to do for themselves so we can interdependently complement one another to move forward. So give without expectation and receive without resistance, meaning that when you give without expectation and it comes back, maybe from somewhere else, as long as it serves you, you receive it without resistance. Because here's the thing, we can't really truly give anything of value if we don't fill our own cup up. I did that for many years, giving, but from an empty cup, and only just making myself exhausted, physically, emotionally exhausted, frustrated, and not really helping people to move themselves forward anyway. It was just a waste of time and energy. But when we can give without expectation, receive without resistance, we can truly give from a place of where we fill our cups. It's like the oxygen mask that comes down. You don't put it on your children first. You put it on yourself, because you can't help someone if you haven't helped yourself first to do so. So I just advocate giving without expectation, receive without resistance.
Thank you, Christopher. And if you have to drop off, we understand. Thank you so much for coming on the panel. And I want to give Eldonna 30 seconds, please. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, there's the 3 Air Force core values, which is integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. And I talked about the service before self, and to piggyback a little bit on what Chris said, you need to come from a full cup. So giving is good. It's service before self is good, but you want to make sure that you give to yourself, that you take care of yourself, because the world can't use you if you're broken, or if you're not healthy, or if you're exhausted, or if you're worn out. So you need to make sure that you give to yourself first, that your cup is full, that you're overflowing, not only from an emotional aspect, but also physically. You need to take time for yourself to connect with yourself. If you have a spiritual practice, I take time praying, going to church, doing things with friends. You have to take the time to do those things so you do have the energy to go forward and do the different things that you're going to do in the world. So my message is service before self, but make sure that you minister to yourself first.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, Dr. Paulette.
Yeah, so I would leave people with this. Start right where you are. Yeah, start right where you are. When we think about globally, you think about your own neighborhood. What kind of impact can you make in your own community, in your own neighborhood, that's going to change the lives of those you come in contact with every single day? So I definitely would say start where you are. And as you start where you are, you will see that will expand, that will extend to other areas where your gifting, your supply, the demand will be there. And then that way you can go beyond just your neighborhood. Start right where you are and tackle that area and that community with your messaging.
I just want to thank every panelist on the panel. Thank you so much, Dr. Paulette, Eldonna, Christopher, and Audra for coming on, and all the people on that came from the streets. And then you out there that's been listening. Always, as I tell people, please, whatever you do, always think about making a difference in somebody's life, because you just don't know whose lives you're saving. So my name is Barbara J. Beckley, here as a guest host, and I'm going to leave everybody with what we believe in here. Let's talk. Our gift is the community CB4L with his chemo buddies for life. And we'll end with that. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for being part of the show.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
Share this with your friends and family and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.